Hello everyone and welcome to our history channel. Lastly, we discussed about how Rome got its name and who was the first ruler of the Romans. Now, in this episode, we're going to discuss how Rome City transitioned to being a kingdom, who became the first king, the reign of the first king of Roman kingdom, and how his reign affected the people of the Rome. Lastly, we discovered Romulus was the one who built the Rome city at Palatine Hill, and the people who were ruled by Amulius before he killed him followed him to Palatine Hill. There, they crowned him as their ruler after they completed building the city. Upon becoming the first ruler of the city, Romulus started to work on his vision. He didn't want to rule just a tiny city. His ambitions were great, to make Rome a great nation, one that would be feared, one that would be powerful. This meant him being the ruler of the Rome city was just a tiny success compared to what he wanted to achieve. Romulus started working towards his vision, and there's one thing he was certain about. First plan was to change the status of Rome from being a city to being a kingdom. How? He introduced the Senate to the administration and made it a powerful organ among the judicial system. He then appointed individuals who would work there at the Senate. The purpose of the Senate was to guide and advise the king on matters to do with the welfare of the Romans, collect taxes in accordance with the status of the person, oversee the use of the taxes into the growth of the kingdom. Also, they were to ensure steady and sufficient supply of soldiers across the kingdom, and the last but the most important role was to elect a new king in case the reigning one dies. In exchange of their services, the senators were treated highly than the rest of the civilians and were given full respect and power over their minors. Now, with the establishment of the Senate, Rome officially became a kingdom, with Romulus being its first official king. Now plan was very simple: make Rome a great kingdom. King Romulus was certain about one thing: for a nation to be great, it must increase in size and population. Increase in size meant raiding and attacking the neighboring cities, while increase in population meant the Roman citizens had to give birth as many times as they could. So, King Romulus asked the Roman citizens to give birth to as many children as possible for the population to increase. As he strives to make sure the population of his kingdom increased, King Romulus allowed fugitives to be treated well in the kingdom and also been granted the Roman citizenship. After the successful raids, the prisoners weren't killed but rather brought back to Rome alive and also granted Roman citizenship. As a result of this, the kingdom's population increased rapidly. However, it also introduced a new challenge for the government of King Romulus. The population of men in the kingdom increased much faster than the population of women. Now this became a very big problem to the government and the people from in general. How? Men started fighting each other over the women they would marry. This led to instability in the kingdom. Remember, instability in the kingdom meant the kingdom of Rome would continue raiding other cities, hence greatly undermining King Romulus' vision. Faced with this challenge, King Romulus decided to do one crazy thing: introduce intermarriage to the people of Rome. In this generation and time, it might sound something normal, but during that time, that was a taboo. King Romulus approached the cities he had attacked yet and requested them to let their daughters be married by the Romans. Also, they could marry Roman women if they wanted to. What was the ruler's response? Of course, a big no. This made King Romulus introduce another very crazy idea. If they can't give us their daughters peacefully, then we will kidnap them. Yep, King Romulus planned to kidnap the women from their neighboring cities. However, he didn't want any bloodshed to be part of this plan, so he came up with a very genius idea. He organized a feast and invited the other cities to come and celebrate together with their women. The neighboring cities, unaware of what was waiting for them, attended the feast together with their women, including the people from the Sabine city, Caenina, Crostomania, and Artemnae. King Romulus then gave a directive: once the signal goes off, as they continue partying, take all the women at the party who are not Romans and make them your wives. Well, that's what the Roman men did. Once the signal went off, they took all the women who weren't Romans and made them their wives. This thing angered the neighboring cities really bad, and they waged war against the Rome kingdom. Now, King Romulus is at a problem again. But remember, Rome kingdom had a good plan concerning their soldiers. So if there are people who are very ready prepared for this war, aren't there? The people from Sabine, one of the cities that attended the party, urged the other people from other cities to march and fight against the Romans as one, in order to defeat them easily. However, they didn't listen to the advice the people of Sabine gave, and whenever any town would feel fit to fight the Romans, they would attack. Slowly, one by one, the Rome kingdom defeated the cities, plundering them and destroying everything there. The survivors, they were left with two choices: become a Roman or die. All the cities are subdued by the Romans, except one, the Sabine city. Knowing that they were the only one left by the fight Romans, the Sabines didn't surrender, but also they didn't attack without plan. Maybe they understood how powerful the Rome kingdom had become. And, led by Titus, the Sabines gained control of Citadel by bribing Tapea, the one who was in charge of it. This angered the Romans really bad, and a fierce battle ensued. I'm talking about a very serious battle. Both sides were really good and evenly matched. As a result, many soldiers died, with tons of them being wounded from both the two sides. The battle was such fast that the women from Sabine and other towns had to come in between and stop the war between their newly wedded husbands and their brothers, fathers, uncles, cousins, etc. After the women had to intervene and stop the battle, both two sides decided to sit back and solve the issue through diplomatic talks. The talks came to one conclusion. Since the ladies have already become Romans' wives, there was no option except to merge and become one nation. However, this came with conditions. Both Titus and Romulus will rule the one joint kingdom, with both having even powers. Also, if the reigning king came from the Romans, the one to succeed him will come from the Sabines. The Romans agreed to the conditions, hence ending the conflict. King Romulus and King Titus both ruled the kingdom together without any issue, till King Titus was killed during a riot by a group of people who were rioting against the government. With Titus dead, King Romulus ruled both the Sabines and the Romans. His reign is believed to be around 37 years. His reign was of attacking, raiding, and expanding the Rome kingdom as much as he could. Though during his death, Rome kingdom wasn't amongst the list of the greatest nation of that time like the Egyptian kingdom. At least it wasn't a small city anymore, but kinda a powerful kingdom. After his death, King Romulus was succeeded by King Numa Pompilius from the Sabine people. Stay put. Next time we're gonna discuss the reign of King Numa Pompilius as the second king of the Roman kingdom.